Hey guys, it's Jaden back here with another episode of Dungeon Talks. Today I have the honor of speaking with RK Fit, and he's somebody that I'm very familiar with. And we just go and keep it natural, keep it real, as usual. So Renison as he's named.
Yeah.
Thank you for doing this,
Yeah, no
and
problem, man.
let's get into it. So, the supplement industry,
Yeah.
right?
Break up.
We jumped jumping right into it.
Let's go.
You own a like a shop.
Yeah.
What would you call it?
It's basically a smoothie bar, but I do sell supplements and stuff like that. I distribute energy drinks and all of those things. So yeah, it's basically like a smoothie bar / small supplement store.
Right. And what do you think with like the modern day fitness influencers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is they're obviously their bodies are the product,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And they're telling their clients, if you train with me,
Mm-hmm.
you would look like me, but they're doing other things that
Yeah.
they won't. Most of them, or at least some of them, are
Yeah.
not comfortable admitting out loud, right? What percentage of the fitness industry do you think that is?
Okay, so if you look at it, if it's online, I would say it's over 60%. If it's in person, it's a lot less in person, but there are telltale signs. If you've been doing this as long as I have been, you can tell that somebody is lying. So you can tell that they are running cycles, and there's no way that you can be like, for instance, you can't be 7% body fat all year round.
Correct.
It's virtually impossible.
Yeah.
For you to come online and be like, yeah, this is what I do to maintain my 7% body fat year round, it's impossible. So like people like that I would avoid, because that is a straight up like that. Look at me, for instance. There's no way I can stay sub 10%. Like right now I'm probably like 20-25%.
Mhm.
When I come closer to competing, I would obviously come down and wait to be helped. People who are selling programs online, there's a much greater chance that they are actually selling you what we locally would call cat and bag. Because it's like you don't know personally, like you don't know them personally, you don't see what they're doing, but yeah, it's really shady out there. There's no easy way to maneuver it. I mean, I try my best. I've been doing content since I started this industry, trying to call people out and stuff, but it does go to a point that I'm just like, I can't do this anymore. Like my last video, I'm not sure if you saw it, where I said like back in 2021 when I used to have Instagram beef all the time, I was like, it really got to me mentally, like the things I would do, the things I would say, calling out people for lying to other people. Like somebody would be advertising a supplement and be like, hey, so this is what I use to look this way, this is how I got this strong, and I'd be like, there's no way this got you strong, and then they'll have a whole back and forth. I was like, I just got to a point that I couldn't do it anymore.
I've experienced that kind of firsthand. Not really experienced it, but I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like there was this woman, and I'm sorry, this is the reality, is that most of the time some of these supplements, especially when they market it to women, they take advantage of like the insecurities that
Yeah.
women may have and like really target that and hone in on that, right? And they would use buzzwords like calories
Mhm.
and burn and all of these things, right? So there was this particular person selling supplements online, and they were selling this coffee, and they were saying like drinking this coffee alone would burn like 300 calories.
Only.
So yeah, just drink this coffee and like 300 calories, you're going to lose weight, you're going to think. And it's like, first of all, no. Secondly, when we're talking about supplements, we need to talk about the efficacy of the actual ingredients within within the supplement to bring about whatever change, right? And so, sure, is caffeine or is coffee going to burn calories? Yes, in theory, there's a mechanism by which it works, right? How much caffeine and in conjunction with what
Yes.
would burn 300 calories? So what I did was I saw all of these women, predominant, because it was a woman marketing to women, right?
Yeah.
The Slim Teas or whatever it was. And I commented and I was like, listen, ladies, like this is not how this works, right? And I kind of explained like, I'm not trying to like gimmick you or whatever. I'm not
Yeah.
trying to sell you anything, but I'm just telling you like, don't fall for this. And then the person selling this stuff obviously commented and was like, you're wrong. That's exactly how it works. And in my mind, I was like, I have a whole degree in
Yeah, that's the thing.
I have studied for quite literal years and invested my life into this. And I don't claim to know everything,
Yeah.
right? But when it comes to burning calories and like the mechanism of action when it comes to nutrients and these kind of
Yeah.
things, I think I'd like to think that I know a little bit.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? And I was just like, so many people, a lot of the fitness industry or a lot of the supplement industry
Mm-hmm.
is just catering and targeting people's insecurities, creating false facades of what expectations,
Yeah,
and then just essentially, I don't want to say robbing clients, but it becomes, you know, to yourself as the person selling it that it's impractical for them
Mhm.
to achieve.
now I would outright say you're lying to people and stealing their money.
Yes.
It is what it is.
Yes.
I wouldn't tiptoe around the topic. You are lying to people and you are stealing their money.
And obviously, like when we speak like this, right, it's easy for people to be like, to be upset because
Yeah.
you're calling them out, right?
Why else would you be upset if you know you're not being targeted?
Exactly. So and my thing is genuinely like, I don't understand why, especially in this now time, that professionals or people in the fitness industry aren't comfortable with just saying, yeah, I own drugs. Here's my thing. If you are not competing in a drug tested sport
Yeah.
or whatever, then you're not cheating, you're not doing anything wrong, bro. Just say it.
Yeah, like who's gonna judge you? The most I would ask is, okay, so like what's your cycle? Because obviously I'm gonna be interested. I wanna compare how 20 grams of creatine is gonna stand up against 300 milligrams of test. Like let me know. You're basically the case study that we want to study. So don't lie about it. We know it's not creatine that has you doing the shit that you're doing. I mean creatine
Yeah.
is really good, but it's only gonna do so much. Like,
Yeah.
be open about it. It's
Yeah.
2026. Why are we doing this?
And this is, you know, like, and to go back to like people like Liver King and whatever, I think everybody who's probably watching us would be familiar with
Yeah.
Liver King and whatever, what actually
Yeah,
ended
that's
up.
all food.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's all fool, right? But he made a lot of money
Yeah.
off of that, you know, what he was doing, right?
Mhm.
And I feel like that is now the model of the fitness industry. I feel like now it's more of, how can I make as much money as possible, while in a sense it's kind of like religion in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, religion, you could kind of you could play on people's emotions and getting
Oh.
them to give money and
Yeah.
whatever. You could really exploit people
Yeah.
through religion, right? I'm not saying that all religions are bad, I'm not saying that all religious leaders are bad, but you understand what I'm saying,
Mhm,
right?
mhm.
The same thing with the fitness industry of like, I could pretend to be something, I could show you this mythical way,
Yeah.
and I am the only one that knows it. Follow me,
Yeah.
give me your money, give me a, you know.
So here's an example that I've been using over the past few years, right? As people know, I am relatively strong, right?
Mhm.
So people would look at me and be like, okay, he's real strong. He could bench X amount of weight. I want to do that too.
Nah, don't be humble, bro. How much do you bench?
385.
That's not most.
Yeah.
The vast majority of people will never bench
Okay,
315. But go
Let's,
ahead.
all right, so let's say I could easily bench 385, right?
Right.
All I have to do, I'm not going to do this, but all I have to do, put a bottle of water, add some Kool-Aid in it, slap a fancy label on it, and be like, okay, this is how I was able to bench 385 pounds in 12 weeks. And people are going to buy it. Why?
100%.
Because people trust me.
Yes. Yes.
People, I'm open, I am very conversational with people, I share advice, but if I do something like that, people are going to, I'm not going to do it, but people would fall for it. And that's the thing. People are very trusting, especially because they don't know about the topic. Like, let's say a construction worker. I cannot I cannot go to a construction worker and be like, okay, I can build a house for you. Likewise, a construction worker cannot come to me and be like, he could write me a bench press program. So I trust him to build my house. Likewise, he was going to trust me to write his program. So if I lie to him, he would not know. And this is what people are doing. They're taking advantage of the lesser known.
Yes. And what I've realized, especially in Trinidad, and maybe it's all over the world, but like, whatever the big names are doing, you just take it as gospel.
Yeah.
I don't want to call any names.
Get cancelled.
No, because genuinely, like
Yeah.
I'm not here for bacchanal.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this for bacchanal. I don't have a problem with anybody, right? But what I will do is call a spade a spade,
Yeah.
right? That's really it. So any problem, because right now I don't have any problems. Any problems that may arise in the future, whatever, just know I tell you now is not malicious,
Yeah.
right? But there are people who have certain names in the industry, and they have a lot of clients, and they're very respected and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
But the practices that they're doing is like,
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
you know what I mean? And it's like, to come up, when if you come up against them or you tell them any different, they'd be like, well, look at my success, look at my track
Yeah.
record. That would mean you're not wrong.
And also okay, so yes, you have the success, but what happens in the long term to your clients after you've done these things to them? Because I have taken on clients from other coaches who explained to me, okay, well, this is what my coach had me doing, and now I can't. Getting a little
No, let me
biological here.
yeah, let
Okay,
me talk.
I no longer, I like for females, I could no longer have a period. I was like, what do you mean?
Whoa.
Yeah, I've had dealt with these clients.
Were these
Like,
people on drugs? Were they given
they've been given things that they don't know what they were taking.
Oh,
They
wow.
were ran through. They had the worst diets. Like, you tell me, like 1,000 calories for the entire day, hours of cardio. Then I've had male clients as well who can't get erections because they were given drugs. They didn't know what they were
What they were
taking.
taking.
They came off the cycle. Well, they cold turkey the cycle, and now they're going. It was like, hey, well, here's what you see. Like, and again, so it was like, what do you mean? What did you take? I was like, I didn't take anything. I've just been taking whatever my trainer recommended. And it's like blood work one time. I can't do anything for you. I'm not a medical profession. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just a nutritionist and a coach. But here's what you have to do: go to the doctor, get blood work done, and that's it. Yeah. So
And and this is the other thing too. Like, this is the part that we really need to get into. So most of the times when these coaches are giving something to their clients, most of the times they're taking for themselves. And the supplement industry in general, like outside of Trinidad or whatever,
Yeah.
right? Some of the things that they're putting in these products, they're unregulated or not
Yeah.
tested or whatever, right? So this is the question. Are you, as a coach, knowingly giving athletes steroids or untested drugs or things that may not be safe? Or are you knowingly doing it? You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because you could be doing it yourself and really not know and just be like, it's working for me.
Yeah.
Let me give it to this person, right? Which do you think is the prevailing
I think that people just want a very high success rate and they're gonna do whatever it takes, whether they're doing it consciously or unconsciously. But I think that they are doing it. Honestly, there's no way they're not gonna know what you're giving to somebody. So I think they are consciously doing it. You are playing with people's lives for your pockets.
Yeah. It's unfortunately like I don't think it's something that would go away.
No, never.
Like, because the reality is, if you're seeing this, more than likely you are already in a gym,
Yeah.
or you care very deeply about like sports and
Yeah.
and fitness or whatever, right? The average Joe, who, at least not yet, the average Joe who is looking at getting a trainer
Mhm.
is probably not seeing this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So they don't know, and so they just go with whatever name is the biggest, whatever,
Yeah.
like, and you'd realize, I have realized, and you'd also know, most clients don't know nothing.
No.
Like, they comment, like, you would think that sometimes I will do things with clients,
Mhm.
and it will be so simple, and I would just be like, in my mind, I'm like, you could probably do this, like, you could probably figure this out on your own. Like,
Yeah.
I would think, because like for me, I could figure it out
Now,
on my
you
own.
would think so, but here's an example that I'm going to give for one of my clients. She came in, she was severely overweight, over 250 pounds, etc. So the first week or two, we go through. We always do basic strength training, see where the foundation is. I don't mention anything about dieting because that scares people away, especially
yes,
females.
yes,
So
yes.
week 3, we started talking about that. She's like, okay, well, I'm vegan. Nothing's wrong with being vegan. It's just a little bit more hard to get the protein.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all of my research to make sure I could get the best protein sources for her while keeping her in a calorie deficit. But the weight isn't moving as long as quickly as we want it to. So I have a conversation with her now that we're closer. She's like, so I'm like, oh, how come you're vegan? Is it for ethical reasons, religious? She's like, oh no, somebody told me that vegan diet is the best way to lose weight. I was like, pause. So like I was like, this is the only reason you're vegan. She's like, yes, I really want to eat meat, but somebody told me this is the only way I can lose weight.
Yeah.
So yeah, so she was only vegan because someone told her that's the best way to lose weight. And I'm like, so this is the only reason you're vegan? She's like, yes, I really want to get back into eating meat, but I don't want to gain more weight. I'm like, okay, would you be okay if I introduce meat into that? She was like, yes, of course. So I did that. I introduced meat 1 day, 2 days, and I just kept adding meat to her that. And boy, with that increased protein, the weight just started to fall off. I think she's down to like 198 now. And I think that's where it comes down to lack of education. Like people are out here giving advice and they don't know. But they don't know how badly they're messing up other
Facts.
people. Like you know, it's just to be like 260 plus on a vegan diet. Like you can imagine what she's been saying.
And
But
you know, I since a lot of the fitness industry is based on looks,
yeah.
right? The educational side of it,
Mm.
we really we neglect, and we think that we also conflate athletic success with equated knowledge.
Yeah.
That is not the same thing. And you will see, because it's the best of the best that are saying it, and I have known this from personal experience. Athletes are good at being athletes.
Yeah.
They're not good at being coaches, or they're not good at being nutritionists.
Yeah.
Even if you would think that they're the best and they would be on top of that stuff. Yeah, no.
Like I'm not calling out anybody directly here, but I've seen there's a couple of coaches that I've seen train other people, and I don't mean like strength coaches. I mean like regular football coaches and stuff. And it's like the most basic exercises they have them performing so atrociously. Like a pull down, for instance, which would be the easiest thing to do. It's like it has me like, what is happening?
Yeah.
Like it's like you can't say it's sports specific because that is not a thing. But like let strength coaches be strength coaches. You keep to your coaching and let us do what we have to do.
You know, I actually has a nice thing to segue into. So if there's a situation exactly like what you just described, when you're a strength coach and you've noticed this client working with this coach,
Yeah.
and the coach, he ain't,
Yeah.
do you think it would be right for you, knowing better, to, I don't know, approach that client, or maybe like how would you, to make that situation better, how would you go about it?
Well, first of all, I have had that situation happen multiple times. They get offended.
Naturally.
They get very offended.
Naturally.
I've honestly lost clients because of it. Like they would be like, okay, I started back playing X sport. This is what my coach wants me to do. I was like, okay, let's try it for 1 week. I see them do it. I'm like, this is not making sense. It's like, oh well, he said it's specific. I tried explaining this to them. If you want to become a better runner, run. Don't come to the gym to do lateral raises. Like they are two separate things. You can only get better at your sport by playing your sport. And I try to explain this to people, and I don't know if it's just in Trinidad, but people are set in their ways. Like they don't want to hear anything from anybody. So I have lost clients because of it. They would not take my advice. Their coaches will deter them from training with me because of that.
Okay, I want to clarify something that you just said, right?
Yeah.
Sports specific. When you say they're doing sports specific movements in the intention of what? Improving movement, or in terms of improving athletic performance?
Well, they say it's to improve athletic performance, but it is not matching in any way. Okay, let's say for instance, okay, a runner, you would want more fast twitch fibers, right? So you would train your squats in a particular way, like more explosive squats.
Right.
But
Yeah.
what they have them doing and tell them it is sports specific is the most atrocious.
Okay, I understand. Right. Yeah.
Like, let's say for us, for instance, so powerlifting, when our coach wanted us to increase our explosive movements, he would change how we squat, right? He would use the bands, he would use the pause squats, and then it's nothing like that. I don't know where they pull these exercises out of from, but it's like they just like wake up one day and be like, you know what, this is gonna work. I don't know where they got it from.
Yeah.
I don't know where they got it from.
Something I just sometimes, when I see things out there, I just be questioning myself and what I know. I just be like, wait, no, am I a waste of time? Because because people will be out there speaking with so much confidence
That's it,
and like doing this and be like, yeah, this, and it's like, it's almost as if I starting to believe them, and I'm like, yeah, no, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, is
As a thing, like what I realized, like once you can speak clearly
Yeah.
and you're confident in the nonsense that you're saying, you can sell
You can sell
anything.
anything.
I'm like, I'm being somebody who's more on the introverted side. I would not. I know better than them, but I'm like, I'm not really the type to be like, like come online and be like, okay, this is how you do this. This is why you do this. You should do this. It's like it's not really my personality. Because if you look at my content, how spaced out it is,
Mhm.
if you get a solid piece of content this week with me speaking, you ain't see shit from me in 3 weeks again.
You know, and I wanna. There's two things I wanna segue into, right?
Yeah.
So, like actual content creation, because content creation in and of itself
Yeah,
is a full time job.
yeah,
I've realized that, and I've been honest. Like with I used to make well, I'm still making it. What do you may call it? Like short form Instagram content,
Yeah.
right? And personally, the amount of time that it takes
Mm-hmm.
to put together a video, especially the kind of videos that I am doing with my level of expertise in that, because
Yeah.
that's the other thing too. Like I just started editing the other day.
Yeah.
I literally every video that you see me making is like the first videos in my life.
Mhm.
So I'm learning every time, right? And it's like for the value, because when you make a short form video, right, you're making a minute.
Yeah.
And there's a minute on a particular topic that might not interest everybody, as compared to doing something like this,
Yeah.
where you could cover a lot of topics. You could, and people actually get a feel for who you are. You could get to explain things better, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think, I guess, short form content is worth the effort, or was the best strategy for?
See, the thing with short form, the thing is, with TikTok and Reels and all of those things, people have very short attention
Yeah.
spans. So, as much as the short form content, they can't really put much into it. It is worth it. It is worth getting people's attention. Like if you're able to summarize the content in some way to get as much information out, you have a better chance of them coming back. So yes, it is worth it to the clients or to the person watching it, but to you, but to me, honestly, it's not worth it. The stress that it takes on my the mental energy that it takes to edit something,
Mhm.
it's I don't think it's not worth it for me to do. I mean, I would do it because I like helping people, but I wouldn't do it as often as I don't do it as often as I would like to.
So, and this is where I segue into the other thing, right?
Yeah.
So, you've done a excellent job of branding yourself and
Yeah.
marketing and building a business that is known in Trinidad,
Yeah.
right? And earns you a comfortable lifestyle, right?
Yeah.
If somebody who's just starting off were going into that space, right?
Mm-hmm.
How would you recommend they build a brand that is on par with yours or on that level from nothing?
Well, first of all, I would find somebody that I look up to and try to get as much information from them that they're willing to give as possible. So I would go in, sidetracking a little bit here. When I just started personal training, I think it was in 2018. There were a couple of trainers at the gym that I looked up to, so I started talking to them, and it's like not given one word answers, but they're holding back a lot of information, like something like as simple as me trying to figure out how much to charge somebody.
Yeah.
I'm like, why is this such a topic?
Yeah,
This man
yeah.
literally gave me a paragraph of information and refused to tell me his prices.
Bro,
Like,
you know, and as that's something I would admit to.
yeah,
Like I would like to. I think the reality is, I am very well rounded,
Yeah.
right? In terms of education, in terms of the practical experience, in terms of, and I bring a lot to the table.
hmm
And then sometimes with pricing myself, like I know what I'm worth and I know what I'm bringing to the table as compared to what's in the industry, but I don't really have a metric of what the
Yeah.
industry skill is, and like it seems like asking somebody is almost like a taboo.
that's why I post my price. That's why I made the entire website and everything. So going back to to answer your question on what I would do if I had just started over, I would do what I wanted to see. Like for instance, if I knew I wanted basic information, I would do that same thing because the same questions you're asking yourself might be the same question somebody is asking and they're afraid to ask. So, like, say for instance, basic topic like what is a calorie deficit? People are, you could look it up, but higher end somebody explain it to you so much better. So, like, I would go that route, explain really basic things.
Mhm.
Though you don't need to go into the scientific part of it because, like, honestly, a lot of people once they hear you start using big words, it's like, what is he talking about? I don't want to hear this nonsense, crow. So I would keep it as basic as possible, do as much content as you can, simple training plans. Like, okay, I go into the gym, I have 40 minutes, I could do XYZ. Content to base around those things. But yeah, but again, back to the pricing thing. I don't know why it's such a sensitive topic. Like, I'm not going to calculate your money, host. I just wanted to know. Like, and
I think maybe it's because some people know that they're robbing people.
Here's the thing, because nobody wanted to tell me how much they charge. I charged my first client $400.
Okay, then
I didn't know.
You didn't know.
And my certification cost me thousands.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about easy, I'm talking US.
I know something. I know, and the reality is, like, sometimes you just price yourself within your financial state at that point.
Yeah.
So you will price yourself in terms of what you can afford, because you don't really have any other metric now, boy. So if your budget, I just call in a figure, if your budget is $5,000, you know to yourself, well, depending on your cost and whatever, like, I could only realistically afford at most to pay somebody $500. Let's just say, right? So my price would be $500.
Yeah.
And you could be significantly underselling yourself. And this is the other thing with the fitness industry, is when you have a client, I know for a fact, personal training sometimes is only as hard as you make it as the coach. If you are working with a client who has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
You could show up as a personal trainer every day and technically do something different. You could just throw together a list of exercises. You come and give the client a workout. The client is feeling tired and whatever. At the end of it is like, yeah, but I work hard. But really and truly, there's no structure to how this thing is going to go. And you could probably get away with it for quite some time.
I read a statement a couple of years back when I had just started as well. It said, anybody can train somebody to the ground, but not anybody could coach.
Facts.
There's a really, really, really big difference between coaching somebody and training somebody.
Oh, 100%.
And anybody can say, okay, give me 3x10. But not anybody can say, give me 3x6 to 8, and this is how you're going to do it, and this is why you're going to do it. And you're not feeling any lats. This is what you do.
Yeah. And you know, I'm realizing that programming is anybody could technically program, right? Like AIs could program and whatever, right? Where I think a coach is with their salt is in actually when the client is there on the ground, because bro, a simple thing is like a hip thrust.
Yeah.
Right? Basic exercise. And somebody could be doing the exercise, but they're not doing it properly. They're not getting the benefits of the exercise. They're lifting hips up and down, but like they're not actually using the musculature necessary for the point of the exercise.
And this is why AI would never be able to take over coaching.
Yes.
It cannot make coaching decisions as fast as a human can. Like I could be watching a client do hip thrust and they're not feeling, okay, put your foot this way. Simple touch.
Simple. And you really, I have found, especially like working with like older clients or people who haven't moved in a while, right? Or who don't know their body or don't understand like control of their body, right? It's almost as if you're teaching a child.
Yeah.
And you have to be really patient, and it really becomes challenging, because you could show somebody how to do exercise and engage a muscle, and if their brain is not able to, you could show it to them, you could touch them, you have to figure out a way, bro.
Like with the older clients, here's a trick that I use. Like I have this client, he's like 72 or something. So I'm not gonna put him on that barbell, obviously.
Right.
So I have him doing box squats, and every week that he comes like once or twice a week, I have him do box squats. And he's like, boy, I don't like this, why you have me doing this, boy? I was like, you still work, right? He's like, yeah, I work in the office. I was like, how do you get down on the chair? I was like, how do you get on the toilet? How do you get off your bed?
Yeah.
It's like, oh. No, he stopped complaining.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. You just have to know, like, AI can't do that.
Nope.
Like, you have to make it as realistic as possible. Why you have me doing farmer's carry? How are you going to get the groceries to the car? Why have me putting things up on the why have me like lifting stuff over my head? How are you going to take down the rice some over your
and you know, and I'm glad that you're bringing that up, because you see that practicality that you just mentioned. A lot of most athletes, right, or coaches who aren't certified, coaches who just call themselves coaches, right, and coaches who would have been athletes in the past and probably been really good athletes, right, they get in clients, but they train in clients the way they were trained. They don't know how to actually manipulate the variables in order to bring about, or adjust for basic training a 20-year-old sprinter versus like a 70-year-old, you know what I mean? Like, things need to adjust, the program needs to adjust, and some coaches, everybody's the same thing.
Yeah.
You know?
There's so much different things to take into consideration. Not just their goals, but you have to take their mobility in consideration, what they do for work, because what you do for work could affect how you're moving in the gym. What is their long-term goal? What is their short-term goal? There's so much to consider. You just can't, okay, consultation, 3 sets of 10 on squats, 3 sets of 10 on leg press. Like, what are they doing? What is the purpose behind the exercise?
Yeah.
Every movement has a purpose.
Yep. I want to move on to something else. You coach online, correct?
Yeah.
Right. Do you have clients internationally?
I have a lot of clients internationally.
Right. How do you go about gaining those clients?
So, most of my international clients I gained off of social media. I had no idea that my presence on social media was so big internationally. People would reach out to me on Instagram and be like, okay, I want to do a coaching, I want to coach with you. I was like, oh, okay. Like,
wow.
I've had clients who had traveled to Trinidad to train with me.
Oh, wow.
Like these people, like they approached me in the gym and I was like, oh, I saw you on Instagram. What do you mean you saw me on Instagram? He's like, yeah, I just like looked up coaches in Trinidad. You popped up. I like your personality and stuff like that. I'm here for 1 week. I want to train with you. And when I go back, I want to continue training you. I was like, oh, I didn't know I had that kind of
Bro,
reach.
genuinely, I want to say congratulations to you on achieving that feat, because that is no small that is no small feat. Like the fact that people would essentially present themselves to you. You don't need to go running down and be selling yourself to anybody. You've already, I guess how long did it take you to get from nothing to that stage?
So I started coaching full time in 2018, and I gradually started building from there. And then we had the big lockdown that threw up everything.
Yeah.
And that is when I actually succeeded the most. Like when we went into lockdown, so I was talking to my driver. I was like, bro, I don't know what's going to happen to my coaching. And I was like, lockdown happened. I can't train people. It's like, what do you mean? He's like, there's Zoom, there's so much social media, there's multiple platforms I could use. Like, you could more than come up with something. I was like, wait, for real? So that's when I started to lean more into content. I was like, started looking at apps as well, like how to coach people. And
would you be willing to give away talk about the actual system by which you, okay, go ahead.
All right, so when I started looking at apps, I looked at multiple apps. I tried like maybe 8 different apps to see what I would comfortable with. Because again, I always want to give people what I would want for myself.
Right.
And in doing so, I found an app called FitSW, and they offered your own custom app. So I'm like, I dabbled with it for a bit, so used it. I have a couple of clients try it out themselves. They liked it, and then so I reached out to the company. I was like, I want to build my own app. He was like, sure, it's going to cost X amount. And this was in the peak of lockdown, so money wasn't really
yeah.
But they were really quick with it. I had my own app running up in 3 months, and Jaden, that's when it took off. In 2021, that was it. My clientele scaled so quickly online. Well, everybody was training online at that point, and I just kept building from there. And that's when Shane actually came on. Shane Daniel, he came on. He reached out to me. He was like, "Hey, I want to get into online coaching. Could you give me any advice?" I was like, so I started giving him advice on how to go about it. And I was like, wait, Shane, I have a big platform. I can't do this alone. What about you just teaming up with me? So I started giving him clients. I was like, because I mean, I can't train everybody, obviously.
Renaissance.
So like, why be greedy?
Thank you, bro. I'm glad, because you said that authentically and organically, right? But I have been preaching that in my previous episodes. Of like, you can't get everybody wrong.
Yeah.
and what some people will do is they will keep clients in a sense.
Yeah.
So and you could probably talk about this. Our industry, our jobs, it's not guaranteed. You really have that security, right? You could have 10 clients and then next month you could have 8.
Yeah.
Right? So what some people might try to do is like, all right, I have clients there that I know I currently don't have the time to. Let me just keep them there. I'll probably keep talking to them or whatever, right? Keep them in that kind of purgatory. And then when inevitably somebody dip or whatever, call them up.
I always give the option, like, okay, this is my capacity right now. I have the option of online, but I work with XYZ coaches. They are directly under me. And also, there are coaches at XYZ gym that I would recommend if you want to go with them. And it's like, yeah, fine, give me the recommendation. And that's how we grow in this industry.
100%.
Like, I would give people clients. Like, there's also been instances where I would give away active clients to other people. Like they want to experience. I was like, you want to experience a different style of training? It's like, yeah, why not? Okay, go to this trainer,
That's so unique,
and
bro.
vice versa. Like I cannot train everybody. I don't want that stress. I'm training like okay, I train like 40 people right now,
Okay,
and that's a mixture of in person and online, and
Mhm.
like that.
that's
I
a
think
lot.
that is at my peak right now. I'm
Yeah.
not going to take on anybody
Yeah.
else. So, like I know if I take on any money, yes, the money is going to increase,
Of
but that's
course.
not just it. My mental health is going to depreciate.
And that's
My
what-
training quality is going to go down. My other clients are going to suffer as well because I wouldn't be able to give them the amount
Mhm.
of time that I currently give them.
Mhm.
So that's why I have people. That's why I network with other people.
So how much? So you have 40 clients, and let's say on a week, right? There's 168 hours in a week, right? How much time do you have for yourself outside of the gym, outside of coaching, in that week? If you had to,
So I mean, I don't post about this part of my life, but I work straight through. So I've gotten to the point that okay, when I just started, I was working like hours upon hours upon hours, and one of my friends pointed it out to me because I didn't realize. And in 2022, she was like, "Ren, you've never taken a vacation." It's like, wait, you're right. I've never taken a vacation, and then I was like, I'm really afraid. I like, and to myself, I was like, I'm afraid of taking a vacation. What if I lose all of my clients? That kind of thing. I was like, then I was like, you know what? You built yourself from nothing. If you lose your clients, you lose your clients. You could always start over again. And like, I sent out a message to all my clients. I was like, hey, I'm taking 2 weeks off. And I was like, oh, it's about time you take some time off. Like, they were generally so happy that I was taking time off. I was like, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to coach for this amount of period yearly. I'm going to take 2 weeks off, then come back and coach again, take 2 weeks off. And that's what I started doing. So I don't really take time off for myself. Like, there's nothing to really do much. Well, I mean, I've done a lot in Trinidad, so there's nothing that really interests me anymore.
Yeah.
So what I do now is I would coach for long periods. And when I feel like I know myself getting overwhelmed, I'll take 2 weeks off, take a trip. I'll go to a different country, do whatever I want to do there, and then come back and then start it over again. But these are things I wouldn't post on social media.
Yeah, no, of course. Yeah.
You wanna have your life like put certain parts of your life not on social media.
And I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Especially like being more introverted and whatever.
Yeah.
I guess, are you now like a public figure where you walk around in public and people are like, hey, that's Renderson? Like, how do you deal with that?
It honestly, it still catches me off guard. Like, people come up and talk to me. I was like, hey, I saw you do this video. I was like, what video talking about? It's like, oh, this video where you explain this. I was like, oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
I'm there like,
yeah.
Like, if I'm in a genuine environment, I'm super comfortable there. Like, I control that space. But when you're out in public and people, like, I don't mind people talking to me in public. I just don't know how to
you know something?
like, what is happening?
You know something? I have the same thing, and like, yeah, I'm a little bit more extroverted.
Yeah.
And I could usually, like, so you could see now with videos, like I could talk, right?
Yeah.
But when there's a stranger, and I also, the thing about it is, when you could also talk about this. When you're in a social job, right, and when you have to talk for a living, all day, when you not working, it's like, dog, I don't want to talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Right? I am in my brain because I like, you are essentially, and this is my thing, right? Essentially, you are a personality. I'm a personality, regardless of size or whatever, right?
Yeah.
We put in stuff out there on out there into the world, right? But I'm a person, and I have struggles like everybody else. He has struggles like everybody else.
Yeah.
And like, we have lives now. So when I outside in public and somebody just come up to me like, hey, I really like your stuff, or I see your thing, is like, thanks, and I might move a little awkward because it's like, it's not a don't want to talk to you, but like, it's not a being rude. I just genuinely don't want to talk, and I don't have the energy to do it right now, and I don't know what to say to you. You know what I mean?
Like, I had that. I was telling my friends just last week. I had a somewhat of an interaction like that. So like, I went to the pharmacy to buy a scale. So I bought the scale. I'm in line cashing. You guys check it out behind the counter. Somebody comes up to me and taps on my shoulder. He's like, hey, so my friend bought that scale last week and the BMI isn't working. I was like, oh, I was like, I don't need the BMI. I just want to know my body weight.
Yeah.
And in my back of my head is like, Renson, she doesn't know BMI isn't accurate. You should go explain to her. And I turned around to go talk to her, and I saw this smile on her face, like the inviting, come talk to me. So I was like, nope. No. I was like, I said if I ever see her in public again, I would talk to her, but I had literally just finished clients, so it was a full day of
Yeah.
clients. So I was like, I just didn't. I'm like, she's gonna go home with this. Not again, another day
Not,
knowing BMI
yep,
is
yep,
inaccurate.
yep,
I was
yep,
like,
yep.
Rennie should do something about it. I was like,
Yeah.
you can't talk and I go in that conversation.
That
gonna
going
just keep
to take a
going
while, and then
on.
yeah. Sometimes it's just not up to it.
Yeah.
You're just not up to it, and that's fine. So you've there's the athlete hat, there's the coach hat, there's
Yeah.
the business owner hat, and whatever. You've been a fixture in this like industry, right?
Mm-hmm.
You've seen things,
Yeah.
right? You've
Some
seen
things I
things.
prefer not to see, but yeah.
Yeah. I guess I don't know what are the horror stories of the industry or things that we just don't talk about or don't know about, and
One of the main things, bro, that I saw in my early days as clients is relationships being broken up.
mm,
That is something that no coach, no trainer talks about. I've seen trainers taking advantage of their female clients in one way or the other, which has
we don't stand for that.
led to relationships being broken up. And that's one thing I could never understand. Like I don't like to judge people, but the things that I saw them doing, like I judged heavily.
Oh,
Like,
100%.
why are you doing this? Like, why taking advantage of vulnerable people?
I'm glad that you bring this up, right?
Mhm.
Because I do not stand for the violence against women
Mhm.
or the inappropriate sexual contact of women and
Boy.
whatever. And I will say this: you do not need to touch. Most times, you don't need to physically touch somebody. And if you are going to do that, one, ask their consent before touching them, right? And two, limit the amount of contact. It needs to be. The other thing too is like, for example, like the buttocks, for example, right? If you want to make sure the person is activating that muscle, for example, right?
Mhm.
You could poke, you could maybe use the knuckle or something
Yeah.
to put it on the back of the muscle. You don't need to grab the buttock.
Listen,
You don't.
my clients will tell you this, especially my earlier clients. Like, if I had to adjust somebody, I would be. I don't like touching people. I don't like being touched. I used to walk around the gym with a stick horse.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
people always be like, why you have a stick in your hands? Like, I'm not like, and then you realize what I'm using for. Even though it's to adjust your elbows, I'm not touching. I'm like, you stick like.
Yep. Mhm.
I'm like, some of my clients was like, listen, we were too close. So it's like, it's just a meeting.
Yeah.
I'm not touching. I'm not touching.
No,
you.
I 100. I 100.
Like, if I had to spot you, I would spot you respectively. But
Yeah.
like, to touch somebody, it's like,
And I think this funny is like it's almost like a stereotype of like trainers and clients,
Yeah.
especially male trainers and female clients, hooking up and whatever. And it's like, yeah, no, this is a profession like anything else, and we need to be professional.
Now, I've fired people for that nonsense. Like, I try to be as professional as possible. I don't pay attention to like when people are like coming on to me and stuff like that. And like, I'm kind of delusional.
Exactly, like come on with you.
Bro. The thing is, I'm kind of delusional. So I just like, I take everything like people are being professional. And then like, when I read the messages and then I read over the messages, like, what's going on? I was like, nah, you're just overthinking it. And then they start being more direct. I'm like, yo. And then then a common thing that started happening in the last 2 years is people would book consultations just to get to talk to me. And because of that, I
said them sugar, right?
not only girls, that's the thing.
Oh,
like, bro, it's like,
all right, well, then it's not bad, like,
yo, like, what is that? Like, I saw a couple of my friends about Sunday. There was like I couldn't believe it. I showed them so many messages like, this person is coming on here, and so it's like, you know what? A consultation costs $1,000. End of conversation.
You pay it or you pay it.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because
And that kind of
I had to do things to stop it because like I don't know what's going on. Like,
Yeah.
why are you using my profession to come like, no.
Yeah.
Like a couple of weeks ago, I had somebody call me and they're like, hey, workers is real hard. You can work more. So I'm like, hello. I was like, yeah, when I come train, I was like, we booked up.
Yep. Yeah.
It started real bad.
Yeah. And again, the professionalism in the industry. So for my female clients, and I've like people, as we discussed earlier, clients who really don't know, they don't know, right? So a woman might be in a space and she she might be feeling uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? And she might tell herself, I don't know, I'm not a woman, you feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, right? She might tell herself, I'm feeling I'm feeling kind of uncomfortable, but maybe this is what you have to do. Maybe it have to be this way, you know what I mean?
Speak
And
up.
no, and you know what? And that's why. So for the men out there, right, fellas, men in the industry, right? Some are real sick. I don't know anybody personally, right?
Unfortunately,
You
I know.
probably do, right?
I've seen the files.
Yeah, right.
I've seen the files.
Some of us, some men, real sick, and I need to stop.
Yeah.
That need to not only just in the fitness industry, but like in the entirety of Trinidad and in the world.
Yeah.
That need to stop.
Like
We have to do better.
Seen some messages, like I couldn't believe it. I was like, somebody showed me something from a trainer that I used to respect because he was doing real big things, and he was like, I saw those messages, I couldn't believe it. I distanced myself from him immediately because you're not going to tarnish my name. You're going to say birds of a feather. You are not going to tarnish my name.
100%.
I took so much time to build it. Nah.
Yeah, 100%.
Because you know what they say, what in the dark always comes to light.
Yeah.
And I am not going to be that person that my reputation just disappears overnight.
Yeah.
So it took way too much time to build it.
And that's in our industry, and it's primarily because we are basically soul traders in a sense, right? Like that's the thing. You know what? If you, God forbid, hypothetically, that happened, your reputation was tarnished, you lost it all. There was no more faith in Renison. Everything fell apart, right?
Yeah.
What would you do next?
Funny enough, I have a degree in public relations and journalism that I could fall. I haven't really used it much, but I could fall back on that. Worst case scenario, I could fall back on that.
That's the thing. If you have PR, you know how to skate through the.
You
know how to skate through the.
No, that I said, I do have my PR degree, so I could always salvage myself. But I mean, if push comes to shove and I want to leave the industry, I could always go back to doing public relations or even lead into journalism, because I mean, social media journalism is trending right now.
100%.
Yeah, so I do have options, but to be honest, I love where I am. I love what I do. So I'm gonna keep pursuing it as long as I can.
I have a question, right? I've been seeing this not new, but relatively new in terms of fitness, and it's been like of all female gyms, right?
Yeah.
And off the bat, I'm not against it, right? But why do you think? What are the reasons why there are all female gyms, or the need for an all female gym?
Some fellas out there that's real creepy though.
So you think it's just men just?
I think not saying it was only because of the men, but then some women are very how can I say this way? Insecure.
Right.
They're very insecure.
Yes.
Let's say like they think people are gonna judge them, and it's like they feel less judged amongst the female crowd. So I think that's why they're more navigate, which I'm totally for. Whatever it takes
makes them, yeah, 100%.
To get into the gym to live a healthier lifestyle, then do it.
Yeah.
But I think it's those two, they're uncomfortable being around men, because I mean, you have women who have been in terrible situations with men and they don't want to be in a. The gym is seen as a male-dominated industry. So let's say you're somebody who had like an abusive relationship, just came out of a relationship, want to get healthier, you walk into a gym, you see a man train around 3 plates like it's nothing. It's like, I don't want to be, and it is smell of testosterone. I don't want to be there. So I was like, an all-female gym. Okay, I am going to go towards this instead.
And I'm happy for the advent of these all-female gyms, and I would love to have some of these the owners of these gyms and whatever to come talk that, because I really like to pick your brain. There's something I was gonna say. All female gyms, right? Women, a lot of the propaganda surrounded like female fitness is insane, because I guess in the 70s and 80s or whatever, we had cardio revolution and whatever, and women were told really and truly don't lift weights, and if you lift weights you're going to look like a man. So this thing from the truth. And we still, to this day, we still out doing it. We still like what, 20 years later?
90% of the consultations I have had with female, the second or third thing that they would say in this consultation, I don't want to look like a man.
And ladies, I'll probably zoom in to my face when I'm saying this, right? A big part of why men look like men is because of this thing called testosterone, right? Some of the men, or there's a significant portion of the fitness industry who they're taking extra testosterone or components of testosterone, derivatives of testosterone, whatever, right? Boosting the already high testosterone levels as compared to your levels, right? I'm sorry. You could do the exact same workout as me every single day, right? And probably eat the same things as me, the same calories and whatever. And more than likely, I could actually say at 90% of the times, you will not look like me. I'm not saying you're not going to look good, but you're not going to look like a man. Sure, right? So lift some weight, right? Trust me, that is the best. One of the, if you're a healthy individual, right, who no comorbidities, whatever, and you're looking for longevity, right, especially for things like osteoporosis and menopause that is going to happen to you after a certain age, right? Do yourself a favor and start lifting early.
Touching on women in the industry, what I've been noticing in the recent years, and now with Pilates making waves, a lot of women these are women who are doing strength training, okay?
Right.
They've been doing strength training for a very long period. They look fantastic. And they're coming online and doing a 20-minute something on Instagram and being like, oh, this is what I did to look this way. Especially in the Pilates classes. Nothing against Pilates, but you've been strength training for 10 plus years, going into a Pilates class, moving around a pair of 3-pound dumbbells and be like, oh, this is what I did to maintain my figure.
It's the same thing as steroids.
Stop lying to the women.
You're lying.
You're deterring people from doing strength training, from reaching their capabilities with this nonsense. Y'all need Pilates has its place, cardio has its place, everything has its place, but stop lying to the woman, please.
Yeah. I one of the things that, and I don't know if you can necessarily answer this question, but I'll say it like, I really and truly enjoy training female clients.
Yeah.
Because I've said this before. Male client, like coaching men, is convincing them to not do things that they think they could do.
Boy.
and coaching female clients is convincing them they could do things that they think they can't do. And for me, personally, that's way more rewarding.
Yeah.
Because you really see the empowerment of women and whatever. And because of what you're saying, sometimes it's women have the perspective of like, oh, he's a man, he's not going to understand. Right? Because of the things that men have done. And I get that. Right? But I would love to train female clients. Like,
it is more rewarding for me to watch one of my female clients deadlift 225 pounds versus one of my male clients deadlift 500.
Yeah.
Like it's having a male client deadlift 500 pounds is effortless.
Yeah.
But getting a female to do it.
Yeah. No, but so training is one side of things, but like, how do you get your clients to like adhere to the nutritional side of things? Is that very difficult for you?
That is a very, very, very long process. It is a lot easier for my male clients to adhere to their diet versus the female clients, because with the female clients, you have to take into consideration their menstrual cycle, how they feel around their cycle, leading up to their cycle, the things that they eat, their cravings, and all of those things. So what I do, and most of them wouldn't see this video, so they wouldn't know what I do this. I underwrite their meal plans. I would underwrite it by 200 to 300 calories, because I know that they are going to overeat, especially when they get their cravings and whatnot. And I'm not going to look at a woman and be like, hey, don't eat that chocolate.
No, and I like that, because one of my main things, and you said this earlier, is like when I just start training clients, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking about diet.
Yeah.
Like that will come, right? Let's focus on actually getting, because losing weight is a simple equation. Energy in,
so easy.
Energy out. Anybody else who complicating it is like, so let's just say, all right, if you are a 250-pound person, you're trying to lose weight, right? You're accustomed eating, let's just say 2,000 calories for the day, right? But you don't do nothing. You just sit down all day, watch TV, right? Just by increasing your output, right? You'd probably start to lose weight with eating the same things.
Mhm.
And then obviously we try to make it healthier, so we would try to switch up you could be eating the same calories, but the choices of
Yeah.
where the calories are coming from, we swap them out. And then that would start affecting the physicality of the body.
Mhm.
And then maybe after some time we could consider cutting some calories.
Yeah.
Right? But this whole thing of like, calorie deficiency or back, like just to
Nah.
start. No.
It just doesn't make sense.
That is not, you can't sustain it for a long. People go and feel like crap. And then the other thing too is like, it would make you all, if that is your method of attack as a trainer, more than likely you not going to get results because your adherence going to suck.
You know what really helps as well is letting people be aware of what they eat. Like a lot of people just eat and they're not conscious of what they eat. So I'm going to give away one of my tips here before we wrap up.
Yeah.
I always ask clients for a full week of eating. I'm like, okay, me to you, I'm not going to judge you. It can be KFC, it can be rum, it can be your I just want to see where the calories are coming from so
Mhm.
I can help you. And then they'll be like, oh, this is what I've been eating. And no judgment. So like, okay, so this is, you've been eating X amount. How about we eat this here and then bring this down here? And that makes such a big difference.
Mhm.
Because people don't know, like having a little bit of accountability makes a huge, huge difference.
Ladies and gentlemen, I think we covered quite a bit. And guys, honestly, like interact with the post, comment on it, like genuinely give me your feedback. I so far it's been kind of radio silent. If people seen it, they see it.
Yeah.
If they, I really want to cater this, right, and kind of be the voice of the people in a sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Help me do that. Like, if you like the video, like is. I don't want to sound like all the YouTube videos,
Yeah,
like share, comment, subscribe, and whatever.
But
Right?
now, like doing stuff like that would also encourage you, and like people commenting would also give you an idea of what people want to see,
Exactly.
and this would help. This would help you help them. Yeah.
That's exactly what it is. So so far it's just been like I talking to the people I want to talk to, and don't get me wrong, I'll still continue to talk to the people that I want to talk to, right? But I want to have as much value and make this as holistic as possible. And the only way that I can really do that is through you guys interact with me. So yeah, like, share, subscribe, and catch you on your next one.
Yep.
Ready?
Thanks for having me. Man.
Hey,
Yeah.
a pleasure. Well, yeah, later.